What do you call it when a White House lawyer asks the Commerce Department to declare an American company's computer chips a national security threat? Not because they're made in China, not because they're made in Russia, but because they are made in Denver, Colorado. And presumably, they count Republican votes too accurately for the president's taste. In any other administration, the word for that would be treason. In this one, it's just a Trumpian Tuesday. And a bombshell, an absolute bombshell, dropped last Friday, and it is the preview reel for what Trump and his goons are going to try to do in November of this year. White House advisor Kurt Olsen, Donald Trump's hand-picked, hand-installed, freshly promoted Director of Election Security and Integrity, asked the Commerce Department last year whether the federal government could declare Dominion voting systems, their chips, a national security risk so that the federal government could ban them outright across the country in every single state. And why does that matter? Because Dominion machines count votes in more than half of all United States states. And the plan was to declare their chips a security threat and force every state to rip the machines out and replace them with what Donald Trump on Truth Social literally called sophisticated watermark paper. Sophisticated watermark paper is going to save our elections, like a Marriott receipt, like a Diet Coke coaster, like the back of the menu at the Sizzler. That's the actual proposed on-the-record replacement for the voting infrastructure of the American Republic in the year of our Lord, 2026. The official voting standard of the Trump White House would be whatever nice paper the Kinko's has in stock. The 7-Eleven receipt you get with your Slurpee is technically more secure than this proposed federal voting system because at least the 7-Eleven receipt has a register code on it. Trump's plan was pick a paper, give it a watermark, ship it, done, we're done. Election integrity. And you know why that's America's voting future? It's because Trump doesn't intend on counting the votes at all, allegedly. And this story, it doesn't exist in isolation. Working alongside Kurt Olsen on this plan was a man named Paul McNamara. And McNamara, a senior aide to Tulsi Gabbard, the now outgoing Director of National Intelligence. The same Tulsi Gabbard whose office seized voting machines in Puerto Rico to scan them for Venezuelan hacking code. The same Tulsi Gabbard that showed up in Fulton County and hid behind a van. The same Tulsi Gabbard who, like I mentioned, as of Friday, no longer works at the White House. The Director of National Intelligence and her deputy were running a domestic election rigging operation right out of the Eisenhower Executive Office building. And the only reason it didn't go further is because some career civil servant at the Commerce Department apparently said, hey, the chips are made in the US, in Denver. That's the only thing that stopped it. Meanwhile, Kurt Olsen, he's been promoted. He's no longer a special government employee. He's officially the Director of Election Security and Integrity at the White House. A job whose entire apparent qualification is having been on the phone with Donald Trump 3 separate times on January 6th. Olsen, prior to those phone calls, was a private attorney whose claim to fame was filing election lawsuits so frivolous that multiple state bars considered sanctions. That is what the President of the United States looked at and said, you're my guy, you're going to run election security for our entire Democratic Republic. That's the man Trump put in charge, and that is the man who will be sitting in that chair before, during, and after our midterm elections. Of course, Democratic senators are calling for Olsen's removal, and an investigation from Reuters found administration officials in at least 8 states were actively trying to seize voting equipment, demanding confidential records, and reopen voting fraud cases that courts have already rejected multiple times. 8 states, presumably under Olsen's instruction. That is happening right now. Right now, while you're watching this video, they're knocking on the doors of state election officials and demanding the machines. And I need not remind you that the federal government doesn't run elections in the United States. The Constitution gives that power exclusively to the states, it's Article 1, Section 4. The Commerce Department cannot ban a voting machine the way they can ban a Chinese-made internet router, which they're doing now, because the executive branch has no constitutional authority over how Maricopa County counts its ballots. The whole plan here was always, on its face, illegal. And we are going to keep covering every illegal act up to and through November. And that's why I need you to hit that notification icon so that we can keep documenting exactly what these people are going to try in November so that you and I can be ready.